Hey. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here, this is Urban Politics, where politics lives. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. Please, as soon as you have a chance after this show, take your little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive, because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. Let me start out by talking about Mr. Walker, right? Mr. Herschel Walker. Georgia deserves better. They ain't gonna get. Well, maybe they will get it if they vote for Mr. Warnock. They'll get better. But Georgia definitely deserves better than Herschel Walker. Now, let me preface all this by saying this: I hate to be going in on another brother like this. You know what I'm saying? I take no delight in having to come at another black man's neck the way that I'm doing Mr. Walker here. But you know what I'm saying? He really is the worst among us in some facet. And I'm gonna explain a little bit more what I mean about that. But he just has so much baggage, and there's so much going on with this brother. Why would they choose him? But it is because of the baggage I think they chose him. Walk with me, talk with me. Okay, so look, Herschel Walker, the worst among us. He checks all the racist stereotypes about black men. That is sad. But think about it. How he's a deadbeat. They claim he's a deadbeat dad. He is a deadbeat dad. Got kids that he lies about or hasn't been there for. His one child, Christian Walker, all over TikTok talking about how bad his dad has been, how bad he's treated his mom. Not a good look, right? And that goes to the multiple kid trope. What have they always said about black men? We run around having a bunch of babies that we don't take care of. Now that actually goes to another trope too. The trope about the virility of black men. So in Herschel Walker, they're getting all of this wrapped up into one individual, right? Here's a guy who we got stories about, and we know about him being a deadbeat and not taking care of his children, which equals multiple kids. Well, if he has multiple kids, he must be very virile, right? He must be sexually virile. You know, and what I mean by that is that he's a man's man, right? Because he's a player. You know what I'm saying? The women want him. That's why he's had a lot of women. Ergo, had a lot of kids. Ergo, has a lot of baby mamas running around talking about how he came out against abortion, but he paid for me to get an abortion. Here's the receipts. Mr. Walker got all that going on, but I think that's a piece of why the GOP is attracted by, or, you know, he's attractive to the GOP because he is, quote unquote, a man's man. They respect that. They don't respect the fact of a man treating a woman right. No, they respect the fact that this guy had plenty of women, made plenty of babies. He couldn't keep up with all of them because he's such a hardcore, virile man that all the women want that he was too busy having the babies and having a sports career to take care of them. They think that that's something honorable on the right? So there's that. Inarticulate. And this one right here pains me because Lord knows I put a whole lot of stock in articulation. This guy is as inarticulate as they come, but that's always been a trope about black folk, right? Some of the black memorabilia that I collect from the turn of the century, it has things that allude to these tropes about us. I have this plate, and it has like two slaves talking to each other on it, and it has them talking through a can, you know, with a string on it, like you see back in the day, and it says, "Who owned the line, honey?" You know what I'm saying? Who, or maybe who this on the line, honey? But that was them, you know what I'm saying, alluding to us having, you know, having just no proper use of the King's English, just not knowing how to speak correctly. Now, really, some of this was African dialect, some of this was slave dialect, and it got really deep, actually. You know what I'm saying? But from the outside looking in, this was just another way that they used to try and say that black people were lesser or lesser intelligent because they don't even know how to speak correctly. They don't even know how to use the King's English accurately. So this guy feeds into that trope in a big way. Well, listen to Master. This dude does what he's told, right? He is an obedient dog. I can't say it any other way, man. I hate to talk that way about another brother, but I mean, I'm keeping it real, man. Come on now. All this crap that he upholds is what they've told him to uphold. He knows the election wasn't stolen. He got going talking about election was stolen. He knows elections ain't rigged. He got talking about rigged elections. Number one, Herschel Walker can't spell election or rigged or any of that. So, he don't know the first thing about any of this. But he's been told by people in that camp, Trump, McConnell, and other people who want to use his name and his face to garner some votes to keep their party moving, right? So they told him things to say, and he's saying it. That's another trope about brothers, man. You always got that brother who just can't wait to get up under master and do whatever he tells him to do, say whatever he tells him to say, and then athletic. That's what they say about all brothers, right? Shut up and dribble. That's about all we got to offer anybody, right? Nobody wants to hear what's going on in a black man's head. They just want to see you shoot a basketball. They just want to see you throw a football. You know what I'm saying? Should dazzle us. You know what I'm saying? Be our monkey and entertain us. But how dare you open your mouth and have something articulate or worthwhile to say? That's why you would always hear those compliments about Barack Obama. Oh, he speaks so well. Really? Here's a brother who went to Harvard. What else would he sound like? Did they expect him to hit the mic and be like, hey, look, I'm going to fix this economy. You feel me, though? For real, bro. Look, I'm going to fix this economy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to smell a player, what he cooking. I'm going to fix this. Why would they think that? Because that's what they think of us. They think black people are a monolith. Right? So if they've seen what they consider to be an ignorant black person, oh, that's how they all are. They all talk like that. That's what they're all about. And that's the thing. They've seen a few of us who could shoot a basketball, a few of us who could throw a football, and oh, that's what they all do. They're all athletic. You see, anytime any one of them gets in a sport, they dominate it. So they're all athletes. So he checks all these boxes for them, and that is why the GOP likes this guy. You know, they would never shun him because some of these things are so egregious and pathetic about him is the stuff that they draw nigh to. Ergo is the stuff I would say they're comfortable with. They like some of this stuff. This is some stuff that they like in a black man. This is stuff that they like in a candidate. Ergo, that's why he gets all this, this love and money from the GOP. And he might mess around and win this. He might mess around and beat Warnock because people in this country don't pay attention. And we'll see what happens. If people come out and vote, he won't win. If people don't come out and vote, he will win. With that said, I'm moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about a statistic that I thought was off the chain. I'm watching TikToks, getting my TikToks in, and I came across this young lady's TikTok, and she was talking about this. Women find 80% of men unattractive. Let me say that again. That blew me away. Think about that. They said women are finding 80% of men unattractive. Then the one girl used the term medium ugly. And I'm sure some of you ladies have used that term describing, some guy who was into you to your girlfriend who ain't met him yet. Or another cute ugly. What? Cute ugly? If that ain't an oxymoron, but she said that. So if women find a man attractive, he's probably 20% of men. But then a woman has to ask herself, is she the top 20% of women? Think about that. So, and they get this right from a lot of these dating apps. And they were saying that these numbers are easy to get because they said women only swipe right between 5 and 20% of the time. So think about that. That ain't rocket science at all. You know what I'm saying? You got a woman who's on Tinder. I don't know nothing about Tinder. That's for you single people. But you got a woman who's on Tinder, right? And she just swiping, swiping left, going past all these guys. And she only swipes right, anywhere from 5 to 20 times out of 100 swipes. Whoa, I guarantee you it ain't like that for men, because you know how men are, not too picky. So that's something to think, that's quite the disparagement between the sexes right there. So there's that. And we're also saying that if you ask 100 women what they want in a man, they'll list basically attributes that are only available in 20% of men. So if you ask 100 women what they want in a man, the stuff that they're going to list, only about 20 men are going to have that. So isn't that interesting? So once again, most women are interested in the top 20% of men. They have to ask themselves, are they the top 20% of women? And then with everything being subjective, these things change, right? So I'm looking at these numbers and I'm thinking, but hold up, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. How many times have you seen a butt ugly guy with a good looking woman? How many times have you seen a butt ugly woman with a good looking guy? There's something else going on there. Maybe he's in love with her personality. I've seen shows where people were having long distance relationships for whatever reason, fell in love with each other over the phone, fell in love with a voice, fell in love with a personality. When they met, it didn't make a difference. And that's what the guy said. I didn't care what she looked like. I fell in love with the person I met on the phone. I'm in love with her. And he met the woman, and on the show I was watching, he married the woman. And she was scared because when they asked him that, and then how about this? They asked him, they said, was she what you expected? He was honest. He said no. And then she kind of looked like, oh man, he might not be feeling me now. But then he said, but I don't care. I didn't care. He's because I fell in love with the person. So I was already in love with her before I met her. So when I seen the physical, it's just like, whatever. I love this person. So sometimes, you know what I'm saying, that happens. So we'd have to factor that into this too, and this would probably skew these numbers a little bit. When I look at all of this, though, I think about the old joke that I've always heard about God making Adam and Eve, right? So God made Adam and he was here alone. So then God made Eve, right? And he sent Eve to Adam, and Adam was like, "Oh Lord, Eve, oh, she is so beautiful, Lord. She's so beautiful." And the Lord said, "Well, I made her like that so you would love her. That's why I did that." And he's like, "Yes, Lord." But then Adam's like, "Yeah, Lord, she's beautiful, but she's also stupid." "Oh, she's so stupid, Lord. It's just dumb." And then the Lord said, "Yeah, I made her like that so she would love you." You know? Excuse me. And that's hilarious right there. But you can understand that, you know what I'm saying? Because how many times, once again, what I was just saying, how many times have you seen, plenty of men with women they don't deserve? Right. Listen, you know what I'm saying? And that is because women, and it's not because women are stupid and men, and men aren't. Lord knows that ain't the case. Really, it's because women are led with their hearts. And if you touch a woman's heart, you have her. God did that on that purpose. He knew what he was doing because he knew men are not the sharpest pencils in the box. And if women are just completely going with this, then there ain't going to be none of them messing with none of us. See what I'm saying? So that's something to think about too. But that was interesting right there. That's something for the men to take home. You know what I'm saying? They find 80% of us unattractive. Wowzers. Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen, more gentlemen than ladies. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about some stuff I saw on Fox News. I'm watching Fox News today. I like to see how the other side thinks. You know what I'm saying? I really can't say the other side because, like I said, these days I'm independent, right? I'll vote for a Republican if they walking right and they talking right. Just like I'll vote for a Democrat if they walking right and talking right. So sitting here in the middle, sometimes I watch Fox News to see how the right is coming on. So I was watching Fox News today. And from reporting from Fox News' own mouth, Democrats are 3 points up. You know what I'm saying? They're 3 points up. So they went out here and they asked people, who are you likely to vote for? Democrats were 3 points higher than Republicans, which is, it is what it is. We're close to the midterms, so that right there is a little disheartening for Republicans. I guess they're feeling like they might need to get their acts together, or maybe they're just thinking, this is another poll. The polls have been wrong for a long time. When was the last time one was right? So a TI is what a TI is, but for right now, it looks like Democrats are making the headway. One of the things that Republicans are harping on, gas prices. Now, sad they do this because most people just don't know how this thing works. They don't know how this gas thing works, so when gas is high, who do they blame? They blame the president at the time. Republicans know that, so they capitalize on it. Republicans love to capitalize on your ignorance. If you're the type of person who just runs off of sound bites or really don't have time to look at the news or pay attention to it, which is most people, then the right is going to capitalize on that. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to send you a quick soundbite that you can use. So they keep going on and on about the gas prices and stuff when that is not Biden's fault, And the guy, I think it was Scalise, I might be wrong, Scalia, excuse me. Scalise has been passed away. Scalia, who is I think he's a Republican senator. He was on there and he was saying things like, the current administration, the Biden administration, not, releasing oil production here in America. And why are we not producing a lot of oil here in America, and saying that that's Biden's fault when he knows that is a lie. If you pay attention to this show or CNN or MSNBC or any station that isn't Fox News, you would know that Joe Biden has released a lot of federal land for drilling, but a lot of these companies aren't doing it. Why would they create more drills to drill more oil to make the price of oil go down? They're making tons of money from it being up, and that's what they're doing. And he even said as much. So you cannot blame that on him. He has done his part as president, as releasing some of this federal land so that they can, and saying, please drill on it. Please drill on it. So people ain't paying $5 and $6 at the pump. They're like, nah, we're not going to do that. Letting people keep paying a bunch at the pump because we're lacing our pockets with cash. So there's that. This Republican senator also knows, like you would too if you're paying attention to my show or paying attention to MSNBC or CNN, that, Biden went all the way over there to Saudi Arabia. He met with some prince or whatnot. He even fist bumped him. And the prince was basically like, F you, man. I ain't bringing down the price of gas. And sided with Russia. Said, nah, we'll help Russia out. We don't give a blip about the United States or y'all's trouble over there with gas. And that just is what it is. We have always had a spotty relationship with Arab countries, right? And I take, ain't no we. America has always had a spotty relationship with Arab countries. So you cannot be surprised that even after Biden would go halfway around the world, and this month the guy at the end of the day was still like, why do they think that? I hope they don't think we're cool. We are not cool with America. We're not cool with you at all. Y'all come over here, you know what I'm saying? You do a little freaky thing with people's governments. Wars break out. You act like you ain't had nothing to do with it. You fund this side, don't fund this side. You get this side weapons, you don't get this side weapons. All these proxy wars and crap you've been doing over here in our holy lands and everything else. Why do you think that we're going to help you out when it comes to gas prices? We're going to tax you Americans as much as we can. And that ain't Biden's fault. These are things that's been going on long before he was president. And this guy on Fox News knows that, but they going to keep acting like gas is all the fault of the president. Oh, well, so there's that. Another thing they've been using is crime. Crime. They're saying crime is up. If you look at the numbers, unfortunately, most people don't. But if you look at the numbers, crime has been steadily coming down. But then they want to say crime is up. And then even on Fox News, they kept it real about how a lot of these commercials that are being ran in these red states talking about how crime is up, that there's a racial slant to them that a lot of people have said, quote unquote, they're uncomfortable with. Really? I can't tell the GOP is uncomfortable with racism. They use it all the time. So how they uncomfortable with it? They seem to be extremely comfortable with it, right? And you know there's an air and a tint of racism whenever they run these little commercials talking about crime is up in your city. And you don't want a Democrat who's soft on crime in power while crime is up in your city. Who will protect you? Who will protect your wife? Who will protect your kids? And it won't be the police, right? Because we've talked about on this show how they don't have to do that, right? They don't have to do that. Not necessarily a scope of their job, but they would have you believe, oh, we have to put more funding into the police so that you can be protected from all this crime. And you know what? They come up with something every election cycle, don't they? Last time, Trump and them were talking about these caravans of immigrants who are coming for you. These caravans that are full of these young, robust, strong men who are coming to maybe coming for your wife or coming for your daughter. And it was all garbage and a lie. But people ate it up like lunch because it sounded good. These are good sound bites. The GOP is amazing at messaging. Their messaging is amazing. So there's that. That's just their latest message to try and win, some extra votes this midterm. The House Select Committee has voted unanimously to subpoena Trump. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That is unprecedented here in the United States of America. We're going to have an ex-president be subpoenaed back in by the federal government to testify about an insurrection that he caused, that he was instrumental in creating, and about overthrowing the government, and okay? I hope this isn't missed on you right here. This is history in the making. You know what I'm saying? My son, he's about 5 now. Think about it. One day he'll be 10, 15, and he'll read about this in history books. And he'll ask me, Dad, was there really a guy named Trump? And was he really allowed to do all these things before they finally acted like America's America? It's a country of laws and made him adhere to the rule of law? Did he get away with all this? And I just say, yes, son. Yes, he did. You won't believe it. He'll be like, man, was this a TV show? You would have thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Contrary to the belief of a lot of Republicans, these January 6th hearings have been must-see TV. And that's the thing. Even when I'm watching Fox today, they were downplaying it. Yeah, they're starting up again, but I think Americans are over it and they're looking to move on and blah, 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 blah. Get that out of here. They said 30 to 40 million Americans watched these January 6th hearings. 30 to 40 million Americans. They said there's plenty of stuff that don't get ratings like that. Yeah. People were interested. And why would they not be? A lot of people watching, they either know a person who knows a person who knows a person who was there. They have family members who were there. They know kids who have had to roll over on their parents, drop dime on their parents about being there. The American public is not only interested in this, they're a part of it. Like I said, some of them and their family were there. Of course they're watching it. But once again, the GOP, they overplayed their hand. They said no one's going to watch these January 6th hearings. No one cares about them. It's not a big deal. Let's just move on business as usual. And Not people do care about them. People have been watching them. There was a large percentage of American people who said if Trump is guilty, that he should be held accountable. There you go. I think it was like maybe 70, 80% or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So come on now. That means people were watching and they want this guy's feet to be held to the fire. So it looked like Benny Thompson them is going to hold his feet to the fire. So there's that. So they've subpoenaed the guy. He's going to have to come in, get up off his rusty dusty, come on in and testify like the criminal that he is. Right. McConnell called the GOP candidates liabilities for the GOP. Yeah, they was. I reported on this show how I guess that Mr. McConnell and Rick Scott got into it because Mitch McConnell had basically said that a lot of these candidates are liabilities for the GOP, and then Rick Scott is going to say shame on you and shame on any Republican who would talk bad about our Republican nominees and blah 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 blah. Mitch McConnell is a realist, okay? That old man, he's been around a long time. He's extremely political savvy. I've talked about it on the show. The man's a political beast, okay? He's an animal. All right, and he's smart, and he got the instincts, and he can smell that these guys stink. Herschel Walker, Emmett Oz, some of these other idiots that y'all have backed in the GOP, they stink to high heaven, and Mitch ain't go front. He ain't go front because he's trying to soften the blow. He ain't no fool. The red wave, now they say maybe not a red wave, maybe more like, it's a red trickle. They'll be lucky to get a red sprinkle the way some of these guys been acting. Now, don't get me wrong. The GOP will probably capture the House, but they're probably going to lose the Senate. I think they did, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they have any gains in the Senate. We'll see. I might be wrong. You know what I'm saying? They might have gains in the House and not in the Senate. Hard to predict. And like a guy said on Fox News right now, he said everybody's crystal ball has been broken lately, mine included. Mine included, right? But it isn't going to be the red wave that they wanted because a lot of these candidates are just not fit for office. They're just not. And that's just saying what it is, whatever your position is on whatever, abortion or whatever else. Some of these guys and gals are not prime time ready. They're not fit for office, and people aren't that stupid yet. People aren't that out of touch yet to vote for some of these buffoons, not even on the right. So there that is, right? So, and TI is what TI is. The one thing they talked about that I thought it was extremely interesting is they talked about how, according to a book, McConnell walked across the hall on January 6th to talk to Pelosi and Schumer, and then they all got together, put their heads together, and decided that the only person that they could reach out to and maybe get some help around here and not get killed this day was Mike Pence. And that was how Pence got in the act with trying to, call the Federal Reserve, not Federal Reserve, but you know what I'm saying, federal agents or whatever, trying to get them out of there. But they came to the consensus that the only person going to help us out here is going to be Mike Pence. Trump is not, because he wasn't answering his phone, definitely not for the likes of them. So they reached out to Pence, and that's how they were able to get the ball somewhat rolling. But that was funny to me. They highlighted that because I'm like, of course. Their lives were literally on the line. There were people storming the Capitol, killing police officers. Why would these men and women inside the Capitol not start putting their heads together and be like, look, I don't care if you rep the R and I rep the D, or I rep the D and you rep the R, or who cares what? We got to get out of here alive. We got to work to not get shot or stabbed or just beat up by this mob that Trump got outside. Right? So that didn't surprise me that they came together. Guess what? Everybody going to drop partisanship when it comes to life, right? He'll drop everything when it comes to living. So that is what it is. Moving on, we can talk about, I want to talk about real quick, the CTC credit versus these tax handouts for corporations. Let's talk about some numbers, ladies and gentlemen. 4 million kids lifted out of poverty through the CTC during 2021. 1 month after the payments ended, 3.7 million kids were plunged back into poverty. 2 million people, or 2 million more people report not having enough to eat compared to last summer while the CTC payments were being given out. 59% of U.S. adults across party lines support the expanding of CTC. Let me say that again. 59% of adults across party lines support expanding the CTC credit. Democrats are demanding the CTC credit or the CTC program be funded before high tax breaks for big businesses like the R&D tax credit that they want to give out to big business, which I think is research and development. So they want to give companies a bunch of money for that, and they're like, Democrats like, we're not doing that until y'all bring back this CTC. Sherrod Brown, I'm paraphrasing, but basically what he said is no more tax breaks for big businesses if you're not having a CTC credit along with it. So he said, if y'all want to do that, y'all want to pass that for your big corporate buddies and all that, whatever, but you better go ahead and add in this CTC credit so that we can give, you know what I'm saying, children under 18 that their parents that $300 a month to make their lives a little easier. If you're going to give these guys a bunch of money who sit on high and already have more money than God anyway, you can at least look out for the American people. And Sherrod Brown said, I won't vote for anything that puts money in the big business's pocket, but ain't looking out for the American people. That is called politics, ladies and gentlemen, and I love to see it. So there's that. Hopefully that CTC credit comes back. Because like they said, what did they say here? There's a lot of people said that they're not eating. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 2 million more people report not having enough to eat because the CTC credit is going. That's major, ladies and gentlemen. That's sad because this is America and everybody should have a meal. All right, anyway, they were talking about with prices increasing from food and housing. Well, first of all, hold on. With prices rising on everything from food to housing, families are spending an extra $460 a month. Those CTC credits could ease that, and that's what they were saying. I agree, ladies and gentlemen. Of course they would. Before I get out of here, because I see my time is drawing nigh, I want to talk about my IPA of the week. This is not an IPA. This right here is a delicious little beer, Burning River Pale Ale. It's a pale ale, so it's not an IPA. It's not an Indian pale ale, but it is a pale ale, and it's one of the better ones, I think. Burning River Pale Ale. Now, a friend of mine who got me into really good beer anyway, Professor Snugs. I used to do a show, The Record Breakers, with him. A lot of y'all are familiar with that. That brother ended up passing on. I miss you, Snugs, but that brother is the reason why I bring these fine beers to you every week. He got me into good beer. Me and him put our heads together and really more his head than mine because he was the cook. You know, he had all the ingredients for this fine beer, Black Star, that we used to make. It was a really good beer, and I miss that brother. I wish he was still here, but in honor of him, I bring to you this Burning River by Great Lakes. It was his favorite beer, and he turned me on to it because I didn't even really mess with Great Lakes at that time. I didn't really know anything about good beer until he got me into it and the research and stuff, and me and him, we kind of took a journey together and learned a lot about beer, and like I said, this was his favorite, still one of my favorite beers too, not even an IPA, it's just a good pale ale. And look here, right here it says, greetings from Cleveland, where an infamous river fire rekindled respect for our region's natural resources, like the malts and hops, illuminating this pale ale. It's a 6% alcohol. It's delicious. I love it. A lot of you probably are familiar with Great Lakes. I think they're out of Cleveland. I think they got a thing we can go down there and you can tour the Great Lakes Brewery and eat dinner there and all that. I'm dying to do that. People tell me it's off the hook. That is, yeah, so big ups to Great Lakes. Big up to Burning River. Got some money in your pocket. Go grab that. Thank me later. Delicious beer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music. This is Urban Politics, where politics lives. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. Liking and subscribing as you do. As soon as you have a chance, please take yourself on over to YouTube. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Urban Politics. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a